Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I've been asked a lot about this layout. I created this layout for Studio Calico's creative team project, and you can see it in the gallery, the creative team gallery on the Studio Calico website. And I've been asked a lot when I shared this on my Instagram. A lot of people saw it on the gallery and asked me how I created this layout because there's some labels. It's a part of the pattern from the May kit, I believe. I obviously use it for documenting April. And they had the 4 labels, a part of the pattern, and this yellow box on the opposite side. And all I did was size my photos to fit into the labels. I just measured the labels and then trimmed down like the sides using my circle punch hole or my hole punch, and just used the kit to add my journaling, my stamping, and all that good stuff. Now, a lot of people asked how I did it. I've kind of shared a little bit how I did it. It's really simple. Layout, not that difficult, believe me. And I'm horrible at measuring and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to share with you using June's Traveler's Notebook. This one released in June. But like I said, I document May in my June, right? Yeah, I document May in my June. So I'm always like a month ahead. And I'm going to use this pattern. It has the similar labels. I mean, these are kind of bigger and all that good stuff, but it's the same concept. So I'm going to share in this process video how I created this using this pattern in this notebook, if that makes sense. It's really simple, believe me. I used the PicTap Go app to size my photos, and I usually size them larger. I don't try to size it to the exact size because I'm always worried that I might need a little bit from a certain side, or I need to, I don't want to like size it the wrong way, if that makes sense. Like I said, I'm really bad at measuring. So what I usually do is I measure and then print a bit bigger than my measurements. And I'm okay with that because I can always trim them down. So I measured, it was about a little bit smaller than an inch and then 3 inches wide. I did them a little bit bigger, and that way I was able to trim them to fit perfectly in these labels. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of do the same similar feel of this page, but on a different pattern. And you can kind of use that either on this pattern, or even just plain old labels if you have them in your stash. So anyway, that's a lot of talking. I'm going to move on. Let's start working in my layout. I do have a few things that I'm thinking I might use on this spread. I do want to journal. I'm kind of documenting my daughter graduating middle school. So I'm thinking maybe I'll use a card to journal or vellum like the other spread that I shared with you. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to do it together, and I'm just going to speed this up and do a little voiceover and share with you how easy and simple it is to recreate that other spread either in your new Traveler's Notebook or your May Traveler's Notebook. Okay, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to start by adding my photos inside the labels. Now, I use the app PicFrame to create my little collage. Now, in the app, you cannot use measurements, but I'm so used to that app and I'm so used to the collages that I use all the time that I kind of know how big my photos are going to turn out. And I always use the border. So I always create my border really, really big. So I have space to trim down my photos, if that makes sense. It's really hard to kind of describe it if you're not used to that app, but I'm just used to it, and that's how I print out my collages for these types of layouts. Now, I went ahead and grabbed one of my Kelly Perky stamp sets, and I'm going to end up stamping Embrace It All. I'm just documenting these photos of my daughter when she graduated middle school this last school year. I'm also grabbing another stamp set from Everyday Explorer. Now, when I stamped, I didn't like the color of the ink, and my stamp was not like crisp. I just didn't like it. So I end up moving one of the photos, covering that up, and restamping the stamp with a different ink pad. And I was smart enough this time around to add my stamp pad behind my stamping so it would be crisp. I do a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of boo-boos, but I just try to find a way to cover it up or fix it. And it was easy enough to move one of the photos down, and that way I was able to kind of rescue my spread. I'm also going to use another Everyday Explorer stamp set to stamp out Love This. I'm going to punch it out with one of my circle punches and just add that as an embellishment to this photo of my daughter and I. By the way, I love layouts like this with multiple photos. When there's a big occasion, we all take a lot of photos, and this is a great way to kind of document that occasion on one spread. But anyways, at this point, I just want to journal, so I thought I would go with a card. I love the brush strokes, and I thought I would use my scrapbook.com tag dies. But when I added it to my card, I felt like it removes a lot of the brush strokes and it doesn't look like how I imagined it to look like. So I end up changing my mind and grabbing the rainbow card. It gave me more space to journal, I guess, and I thought the rainbow looked really nice with my pattern paper, so I go for it. I actually added my journaling. I had a little boo-boo when I was journaling, so I'm just going to use my whiteout to clean that up a little bit. I'm going to add some twine and stick it down to my spread. Now for my first layout, I didn't add a lot of embellishing. I added more of journaling and stamping, but I thought it would be cool to be more like embellishment heavy on this one. So I decided to add a little embellishment to my tag right underneath my journaling. It just said, "Do it for you," just to fill out that empty space on my tag. I'm also gonna grab a few banners and add those to my photos and my little labels. Now those labels or those banners are really short. So what I thought I would do was trim down one of them, add it underneath my photo from the bottom part and the top part, and it gives that illusion of a long banner. I thought it looked really cool. And I was trying to stick to those blue, the pink, just to bring in the pink from the right, no, from the left, and the blue from the right, and kind of mix it up a little bit. I'm also going to grab my puffy stickers and add a few stars to my label. I wanted to bring in some yellow. You guys know I love to go with like 3 main colors on my spread. So bringing in the yellow will kind of balance the pink and the blue. And I'm also going to grab my Tim Holtz phrase booklet and add a few phrases. And one of the labels where I stamped "Embrace It All," I just wanted to bring in some black as well. I'll go back into my stamp sets. I believe I grabbed one of my Kelly Perky stamp sets, stamp "Hello" right next to "Totally Thankful." And in that stamp set, there was "Hey Girl." I thought it would look pretty cool to stamp the "Hey Girl," like have the rainbow in between the "Hey Girl." So I end up doing that, and then I call my layout done. I really like how this layout turned out. It's totally different than my first layout, but very similar, if that makes sense. And I was able to scrap lift myself, and I hope this was helpful to all of you guys who've been asking me about that first spread. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.